0-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Simeon. Now the 0-2. Swing and a miss. There's the 0-2. Now goes Davis.
That's out toward right center field. Going back on it is Zimmer. At the wall. Gone! Big fly. Ohtani-san.
Hey guys, it's Mr. Hollywood and welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we have probably one of our more special episodes that we've done to date. You guys saw the promo that we did at the beginning. This episode is all going to be all about this card sitting in front of me right here, how it came to fruition, how we got the idea for this, how we designed it, how it was put together. But of course, you now know from the promo that we came up with this custom Babe Ruth Shohei Ohtani custom 1-of-1. You can see the 1-of-1 here. Our dual RPA. Everything in this card is game used. It is a game used Babe Ruth bat, a game used Babe Ruth jersey here, a game used Shohei Ohtani jersey, and a game used Shohei Ohtani bat. Of course, we do have a Shohei Ohtani autograph here and a Babe Ruth autograph here. Keep in mind though, this Babe Ruth autograph, we'll go into it in a little bit. It's not a full autograph. As you can see, it's just B. Ruth, not the full Babe. But first, let's just kind of go over how I thought of the idea to do this. Number one, I'll just go out and say, first of all, that I'm not the one that put the card together. I worked with another custom card company called Reclaim Cards. They do an amazing job. If you guys ever want a custom card made, Reclaim Customs is the best in the business, in my opinion, at putting together these custom cards. If you need contact information for them, just send me a message or send something in the comments and I'll direct you to their page. But Reclaim Customs is the company that helped me bring this vision to life. I had originally had a few different sketches of what I wanted the card to look like. I just made them myself on Canva. I'll put those on the screen for you now. So you can see kind of what my vision for the card was going in. I then shared this design with the guys at Reclaim Customs, and they came up with kind of the final design, which is how you see it today. They were also the ones that embedded all the relics and cracked all the relics out of their respective sources. So one of the hardest parts of this was sourcing the material. Obviously, I needed an autograph of each player. I needed the relics of each player. So this took a few months. I'm not gonna lie, this definitely took a few months to put together, but we were able to put it together. How did we go about putting it together? Well, we'll show you the first piece, and this was this PSA piece. This was actually a card that I had that had a piece of Babe Ruth memorabilia in it. This is the broken label from the slab we cracked in order to get it. And this was the actual card out of National Treasures, numbered out of 5. But you can see this swatch on top was the jersey. It went all the way. Reclaim actually ended up taking the wood from the bat and the jersey, the leftover, and putting it together to try to kind of salvage this card for me. And they put their own custom back on it as well. So Reclaim did an amazing job trying to salvage this card. once I needed that jersey swatch out of it. And they did not charge me for it. I'm telling you, they are really good guys. Use them if you have any custom cards you want to do. But this is where we got the jersey relic out of here. We got the bat relic out of another card. I'll put the picture of the card on the screen. We just bought this on eBay for, I don't even remember how much, 100 and something bucks. That's where we got the Babe Ruth bat relic, this one right here. Where do we get the Ohtani relic? Well, we got it out of this horribly graded Topps Tier 1 relic card. It was a dual relic. They have the other relic still. I am planning on doing another card with them. So they're holding on to it for the moment, but that's where we got this relic here. We can show you a picture of the card as well. I know it's not the greatest picture in the world. This game-used bat relic came out of actually a dual bat relic card with Mike Trout. We'll throw that on your screen now. We're gonna be using that Trout relic for a custom Trout card pretty soon as well. So now that you've seen where we got all of our relics from, we'll show you where we got the Ohtani autograph from. It came from this card that is on your screen right now. Just a typical Leaf sticker product. Would have been nice to get on card, but for this purpose, you're gonna have to cut it out anyways, so we were fine kind of just doing it with a sticker auto on a Leaf product. The Babe Ruth one. Now this is where it gets interesting, this Babe Ruth signature. So this was actually previously graded by Beckett. It was encapsulated by Beckett, and you can see here, I'm gonna kind of hold this up like so. This used to look like this, okay? You can see the Babe Ruth there, and this was the Beckett label that we cracked this out of. So you can see cut handwriting, signature, Babe Ruth, authentic handwriting. Here's the back of the label for you. Beckett Authentication Services. And if we flip to the back of this sort of postcard here, you can see where this came from. And it's actually kind of interesting because it's B. Ruth and not Babe Ruth. But the affixed handwriting on this Babe Ruth Hall of Fame postcard originates from his personal collection that was sold through Hunt Auctions, Lot 121, 1941-43, personal check register, PSA DNA letter of authenticity. This item has been reviewed and authenticated by Beckett Authentication Services. So basically, what this is this came from Babe Ruth's personal check register. Now, this is two different parts of the checkbook. So this B, who knows what it actually spelled out before it was put next to this Ruth. So this is not, I guess, technically a full Babe Ruth signature, although it's put together in Babe Ruth's handwriting, and so thus we have B. Ruth. That's how it came to that. I believe we paid $3,500 for this card. I'll throw a picture on the screen just so you know what it looked like when it was complete. I think we paid $3,500 or so for it. But that's how the card came together. You saw a quick kind of rundown of how the card was put together by the guys at Reclaim Customs. They did an incredible job. They use all acid-free adhesive so that you don't get any discoloration or anything like that. Here's kind of a closer look at the card. I love the way that it kind of refracts in the light. The 1 of 1 over there is nice. I chose rookie pictures because I wanted this to sort of be the rookie card for them. I was gonna do another card with Ohtani in a Dodger uniform and Ruth in a Yankee uniform, as well as probably one when they retire. Here's the back of it. You can see kind of the RC logo there, as well as the description of both Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani. If you want to read it, just hit the pause button and you can read it. Otherwise, I'm gonna continue back to the front of this card, but I want to kind of go through why I decided to do this. Shohei Ohtani I have a lot of his cards. I personally have been collecting his cards for quite a while, since before they got hot. Was very, very fortunate to get in on the Ohtani train before probably 95% of people were getting on the Ohtani train. But, I mean, look, it's really hard to compare eras. I don't think you can really compare eras. Babe Ruth competed in an era where you don't necessarily choose who you compete against, right? Babe Ruth, the elephant in the room, is he competed against all Caucasian players. Shohei Ohtani obviously competes today where it's an international game. You're competing against so many different types of players. But Babe Ruth couldn't control that. And I'm not gonna knock him for it. I'm just saying, I do think, and it's obvious elephant in the room, that there's a lot more competition now with who Shohei Ohtani is facing than back in 1919 when Babe Ruth, or 1920 when Babe Ruth was sold to the Yankees. Totally different era. Obviously, Tommy John surgery way more prevalent now as pitchers are throwing harder and harder. I think that is part of the reason why Ohtani's pitching stats haven't quite been the same level in terms of wins or ERA as someone like Babe Ruth. Although keep in mind, Babe Ruth only pitched really for his first 5 years in baseball and then really didn't pitch after that. So Ohtani is kind of bumping up right there on the 4 to 5 years of doing both. Who knows how much longer he'll be able to do both for. But there's a reason why these are the only two guys to do both pitch and hit. Baseball is such a specialty sport. You either pitch or you hit. And it's amazing that it has taken over 100 years, or just about 100 years, to get another person similar to Babe Ruth. And yet, Shohei Ohtani is still different in every way, right? He throws 100 miles an hour on the mound. He has stolen 56 bases so far this year. The season is wrapping up right now. Shohei is currently sitting at 53 homers, 56 stolen bases. He founded the 50-50 club. Obviously, that's something that Babe Ruth would never be able to do because Babe Ruth did not have the speed. He had quite the little pot belly on him, but Babe Ruth's batting numbers were obviously absolutely insane. And look, Babe Ruth will always have more championships than Shohei Ohtani. I think Babe Ruth won 7 World Series. He will always have more home runs than Shohei Ohtani. But that's kind of a function of the time, and it's where you have to say to yourself, you can't really compare the times because Babe Ruth was competing in a time where there was less teams, right? Less competition. The Yankees had what was known as Murderer's Row, probably the greatest 2-3 hitters in a row in the history of baseball. Of course, I'm talking about Lou Gehrig as well as part of that team, those Murderer's Row teams. And, you know, Babe Ruth was able to play 20 years in the majors. Shohei Ohtani will not do that because he came to the United States at the ripe age of 24, I believe. So Babe Ruth got those extra 4 or 5 years that Shohei was in Japan for. So Shohei will never hit 714 home runs like Babe Ruth did. But in my personal opinion, I have all the respect in the world for Babe Ruth. I think Babe Ruth is probably statistically, and the fact that he did both pitch and hit, he won 7 World Series. I mean, Babe Ruth is, to this point, the greatest baseball player of all time. But Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball talent of all time. And in my opinion, he can become the greatest baseball player of all time. What do I think what do I think it would take to unequivocally deem Shohei Ohtani the greatest baseball player of all time? I think he's got to win a World Series. I do. I don't think he necessarily needs to win a World Series MVP, but he's got to come back and pitch. If he has a year next year where he comes out and he goes 50-50, and this is highly unlikely, but if he comes out next year and Shohei Ohtani goes 50-50 from the batter's box again, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, if he hits 300 And if he comes back on the mound and has double-digit wins with an ERA in the high 2s to low 3s, and he's top 5 or top 8, let's say, in Cy Young voting, and the Dodgers win the World Series, it would be hard for me to say that that's not the greatest season of all time, and that Shohei Ohtani is the greatest player of all time. I don't think when you say greatest player of all time, it's not all about the numbers. It's not all about the championships. It's not. I think in this case, these two are separated by a century, and you need to take into the account that you can't compare the two eras. And so for that reason, I think it's very reasonable to contest that Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player of all time, even right now. I think what would really solidify it, like I said before, is if, you know, he comes back and has a dominant, true dual two-way year as a hitter and pitcher. If they win the World Series, then I will forever think 100% Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player of all time. I already think Shohei Ohtani is the most skilled baseball player of all time, maybe one of the most skilled athletes of all time. But that's kind of our reasoning for why we wanted to do this. Now, of course, Topps did a card like this. It was a 1-of-1 Shohei Ohtani Babe Ruth cut card. We'll post it on your screen now. I think it sold for $113,000. There was no way that we were gonna pull that card. There's also there's a pitching one and a hitting one. And so we figured, why not just make our own for a fraction of the price? And that's exactly what we did. To get this card done cost us a grand total of $7,500. That's from purchasing the autographs, all of the relics, doing all the design work, having it created, sending it, shipping it, insuring it. So in my opinion, I don't care that it's not made by Topps or Panini. I really don't. Because to me, this card, in my opinion, looks better than anything that Topps and Panini could have put out. It flat out. And that's props to Reclaim Customs. They just do such an amazing job with these cards. And just to have this and appreciate this, this is the closest that Ruth and Ohtani are ever gonna get to each other, is by combining their stuff together like this. And truly, it's really just an honor to have this card as part of my collection and share it with you guys. You know, I think they're the two greatest players of all time at this point. The only ones to ever both pitch and hit at all-star levels. Of course, Ohtani has the more dominant arm. He strikes out a lot more players, but Ruth, man, boy did Ruth keep the ball in the ballpark. His ERA is crazy, crazy low. We will see how Shohei Ohtani comes back on the mound. But as of right now, this is, and probably a lot of you won't be surprised, that this is probably my most favorite card in my entire personal collection, and it's not made by Topps, it's not made by Panini, it's not made by Leaf, it's not made by anyone. It's something that we came up with, or that I came up with in my mind. It's something that was tweaked incredibly by the guys at Reclaim, and now we have this amazing and historic Ruth Ohtani card. It's gonna stay in my collection forever, without a doubt. So I appreciate you joining me on today's episode to go over this incredible card. Remember, if you have any custom card ideas or creations that you would like to bring to life, don't forget, you can always contact Reclaim Cards. They will always respond. They do such an amazing job. I mean, look at this. We do have another really cool one coming from Reclaim. We did a really cool Jackie Robinson card that should be arriving in the next couple weeks, so we'll show you guys that one as well. But hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. We'd really appreciate it. So that we can keep on making stuff like this and showing it to you guys It is so, so cool. Something that I will have forever, hopefully pass to my kids one day. So until next time, we'll see you right back here at Hollywood Rips. Mr. Hollywood, out.